Welcome back to the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. And if you are looking to find out how to live longer, how to live better, this is the episode for you. My name is Rob Sumner, owner of Sumner Specialized Physical Therapy, Specialized Strength. We also are host of the Superhuman Protocol. So if you're looking for information on wellness, fitness, physical therapy, nutrition, anything that helps you live longer, this is the podcast for you. So today, we're really going to dive into a topic that comes up all the time in my wellness discovery visits. And this is a topic that people are asking all the time. How do we not just live longer, but how do we live better? So today I'm going to let you in on a little secret. What if I told you that how long you live isn't just up to dumb luck or your genetics? You might be thinking, well, Rob, longevity is just in the cards you're dealt, right? But here's the truth. The latest research on longevity really shows that we have way more of a control of our health span, so that's the quality of life that you experience as you age, than most people realize. And that's what really today is all about. I'm going to break down the 3 pillars of longevity that I talk about all the time with every single client who's serious about living a long, strong, and energized life. And these 3 pillars determine how well you move, how much energy you have, and how resilient your body really remains as the years go by. And if you ignore them, well, your risk of disease, frailty, and your overall decline skyrockets. But if you focus on them, you're not only increasing your lifespan, but you're really going to thrive as you age. So again, we're going through the 3 pillars of longevity, and the first one up as the pillar that really supports you is muscle mass. Now, I'm going to say this loud and clear. Muscle is the true fountain of youth. When people come to me during these discovery wellness visits and ask about longevity, I always start there. Why? Because muscle isn't just for aesthetics or for bodybuilders. It's really the most protective tissue in your body. And here's the science behind it. Muscle protects against frailty and falls. And let me tell you, falls are one of the leading causes of injury and death in older adults. I see it all the time in the physical therapy clinic. When I used to do home health, that was number 1. People all the time would have difficulty leaving their homes because of frailty and falls. But what we don't realize is that muscle also regulates blood sugar. It keeps your metabolism efficient and steady. And here's the thing, what people don't realize. The muscle cell is the only cell in the body that does not require insulin to bring blood glucose into the cell. That's powerful, because if we can reduce our insulin levels, that means we're storing less fat on our body. That decreases our chance of insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, high blood pressure, and a lot of the chronic conditions that plague us as Americans. But it also plays a direct role in reducing inflammation, which is a major factor in aging and chronic disease. But you know what really hits home for most people is just face validity. You can see it. Think about the people that you know who are aging really well. Picture them in your mind. Think about those individuals on how they move, how they can still get off the floor. They move with ease. They can carry groceries without breaking a sweat. They can hike with their grandkids. They can go up a flight of stairs. They don't need somebody to hold their arm when they're walking. What's the common denominator? Muscle mass. And here's a simple test for you. Have you ever tried hanging from a pull-up bar? just holding yourself up as long as you can, because grip strength is directly correlated to longevity. The stronger your grip, the longer you're likely to live. And this isn't just gym talk, it's real life proof that strength equals independence. Now, it's not that grip strength is this magic indicator muscle that determines how long you live, and all we have to do is do a bunch of grip strengthening activities to develop a really strong grip, which means you're going to live long. The grip strength is really a proxy for muscle mass on your body, because individuals that have a strong grip are now more likely to push, pull, carry, squeeze, lift. They're going to use their whole body in their daily task, and they're going to do higher order tasks. So really, the grip strength is a quick, effective, and inexpensive way that we can measure your longevity, how much muscle mass you have on your body. That's hugely important. Quick, effective, and inexpensive. Go to any bar and see how long you can hang on it. Can you hang for at least a minute? There's normative data. You can Google search it. Longevity and hanging on a pull-up bar. And you're going to find metrics related to age that tells you where you're at compared to other normative data. And this will give you an idea of where you're at with longevity. But it really comes down to, how do you build that? Because if you look at males, about the age of 45 is when testosterone levels start to change. We're already living in a depressed testosterone level for men anyways, with all the xenoestrogens around. So now at 45, it's going to start dropping off. At 55, it starts rapidly dropping off without intervention. And I'm not talking about testosterone supplementation. I'm talking about strength training, because strength training has been shown to slow the degradation of testosterone production in the body. That strength training, building more muscle mass, stimulates more growth hormone in the body, and it tells the body continue to produce testosterone. Now, you're going to get some degradation that occurs with time, naturally. You don't see a lot of 85-year-olds that have testosterone levels of a 20-year-old. But you see 20-year-olds with testosterone levels of an 85-year-old. So it's everly essential that for men, that we boost our testosterone levels, especially as we age, and we do that through strength training, because that will hold our muscle mass for us. But what about women? Women don't have nearly as much levels of testosterone levels. They don't drop off. Is there no hope for them? Well, think about women that after menopause, the estrogen levels change, which means that your stimulation of bone formation changes. And that's why you see a lot of women without the same levels of estrogen are going to have brittle bones or weakening bones or softening bones. Why? They're more risk for osteoporosis or osteopenia, which is the precursor to osteoporosis. And why are they getting this? Well, it really has to do with the changes with age, with that menopause, the changes in estrogen. And what does that mean? That means that a simple trip, fall, other is going to lead to a fracture, a compression fracture to the thoracic spine. And without maintaining that muscle mass, now you're at risk for frailty. So women, it's everly essential that they build muscle mass. Why? Because the more muscle mass you have, it's going to hold off on those issues related to frailty, falling, tripping. But also, the more muscle mass you create is going to create stronger muscles, stronger tendons, which then is going to pull what on the bone? Which means your bones will be more dense. It's going to hold off on some of your osteoporosis. What is the greatest benefit to strength training for women over the age of 55? Decreasing your risk for osteoporosis. Weight-bearing strength training is your cure for osteoporosis. So what do? Well, strength training 2 to 3 times per week is non-negotiable. And no, you don't need to hit the gym like a powerlifter. But bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups, resistance bands are incredibly effective. So the goal, maintain enough muscle mass to ensure that your body stays functional, mobile, and independent as you age. So that is the first pillar, and my number one to longevity is maintain muscle mass. That's number one. Okay, well, what about number two? Number two really comes down to VO2 max. So you might not have ever heard about VO2 max. And if you haven't, don't worry. That's not uncommon. It's really just a measure of how much oxygen your body can use during activity or exercise. It's the volume, V, of oxygen, O2, that you can maximally bring into your body during exercise or activity. But here's what's mind-blowing. And I always share this during these wellness discovery visits with my clients. That VO2 max is really your endurance. It's your ability to get out on the road and sprint as fast as you can and not slow down. The longer you can do it, the longer VO2 max you have. But eventually the body it's going to burn in the muscles, burn in the lungs, and you're going to start slowing down. And that's a buildup of lactic acid. And the reason it builds up is because you don't have oxygen to continue the reaction in the mitochondria to produce energy. So the body starts producing energy without oxygen, which is hugely inefficient. And as a byproduct, you get lactic acid that starts infiltrating those muscles, the lungs, and your body can't keep up, makes things heavy, slow, and you start slowing down. But here's the thing about VO2 max, is that people with the highest VO2 max live longer on average. 16 years longer than those with the lower levels. So if the average individual as a male is going to die at 82, well, you're looking at like 66. 66. You're passing away. 16 years younger based on VO2 max levels. Let that sink in. 66 is not that old. The majority of my clients I work with in our personal training programs are over 66. So VO2 max is one of the most reliable predictors of lifespan. It's like a window into how well your heart, your lungs, your muscles are working together to keep you moving. But here's the catch. Just like with muscle, after the age of 40, we lose about 4 to 5 VO2 max points every decade. And this is where in these wellness discovery visits, I communicate to my clients. If I'm a 45-year-old male and I have an average VO2 max of about 36, and I know that I'm going to go down to about 4 to 5 points in my VO2 max every decade of life, then I can effectively look at a VO2 max chart that will tell me the amount of VO2 max that is required to walk a 3% grade for 10 minutes on a hike, to go up 10 standard stairs, to get myself off the floor if I went down on the ground. And you could say, well, if I have a 36 VO2 max, I could then predictively find out when it will be very difficult or impossible for me to complete those 3 tasks. Because let's say it takes a 26 VO2 max to do a 3% grade and a 21 VO2 max to walk up 10 steps and a 16 VO2 max to get off the floor. Well, then I can look and say from 45 to 55 to 65 to 75 to 85, and I can predictively match by doing the average that I'm going to go down 16% every single decade, which is 4 to 5 percentage points. I can then say, well, about 65, I'm going to have difficulty going for a hike. 75, I'm going to have difficulty going up 10 steps. At 85, I'm not going to be able to get off the floor by myself. And it's not because I don't have enough muscle. It's because I don't have enough endurance. I get too tired. The muscle's there, but I get too tired before I can do it. So that VO2 max is not just about if you can run a marathon. It's really a predictor of function. It's not solely related to muscle. It's a matter of your endurance. Will you be able to do it? And we all want to be able to walk with our grandkids, hike with them, go to Disney World. I mean, how many grandparents have to hold back and sit on benches and say, okay, I'll catch up with you later at Disney World or other adventure parks, solely because they don't have the endurance to do it? Not muscle, endurance. So how do we fix this? VO2 max is important for longevity. How do we fix this? Well, the answer is simple: interval training. So think about doing 30 seconds of really hard effort, followed by a minute recovery. And you repeat that a few times, you're on your way to boosting your VO2 max. So think about being on elliptical, a treadmill, or running, where you're going to go 30 seconds of really hard effort and then really, really light effort for a minute or a minute and a half. So it allows your heart rate to continue to come back down to normal. And you're going to do this over and over and over, and they call that interval training. They call it high intensity interval training, one of the most effective ways to improve your VO2 max. The other way, if you're not into intervals, is zone 2 training. And zone 2 training is an aerobic way to go for a walk, hiking, stairs, running, where your heart rate gets just high enough that it's hard to breathe and talk. So this is where if I was jogging with somebody, all of a sudden I'd be like, hey Trav, so where are we going after this? You want to go Chipotle? All right, I think we could do that. I can still get it out. I can still talk, but it's just a little bit labored. That's zone 2. And at zone 2, we can start increasing our duration of zone 2, and that also helps improve VO2 max. So you don't have to be an elite athlete. You just need to be consistent, because the better your VO2 max, the longer and better you will live, which leads us to the everly essential third pillar of longevity, which is your metabolic health. Now, metabolic health, I cannot stress enough, metabolic health is the engine that powers everything. Most people don't really realize, but metabolic dysfunction is rampant in our society. Insulin resistance, high blood sugar, chronic inflammation, they're almost all linked to major diseases out there, from heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, you name it. But when your metabolism is healthy, your energy rocks. It skyrockets, your weight stabilizes, your body fat goes down, and your risk of chronic disease drops significantly. So when you have metabolic dysfunction, this is really mitochondrial dysfunction. When this occurs, your body starts giving you symptoms of distress. It starts telling you, we need help. Help, help, help. The spare tire that starts occurring around your stomach is a symptom of metabolic dysfunction. High blood pressure, symptom of metabolic dysfunction. Triglyceride levels, more fatty acids in your bloodstream, symptom of metabolic distress. Fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, symptom of metabolic distress. Even anxiety, depression can be a symptom of metabolic distress. And it goes on and on. Your energy levels, pain levels, inflammation levels. These are all signs of metabolic distress. Sleep disturbance, sleep apnea, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. These are all signs of metabolic distress. But what do? When these signs show up, we try and hide them. We hide them through medicine. High blood pressure is to keep your blood pressure at a certain level artificially, but your body still has the symptoms. You're still in metabolic distress. When we have diabetes, we artificially bring down blood sugar. We make the cells take more in through metformin or different drugs. It doesn't fix the problem, it only hides it. Same thing with high triglyceride levels, high cholesterol levels, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. The different meds we take, not a single one of them cure the problem. They just mask the symptom, and then your body says, stop. And it starts telling you that it needs a different route. You have to fix this or else it manifests in something else. And that's why you see metabolic dysfunction leads to many things. From high blood sugars lead to insulin resistance, leads to high blood pressure, leads to high cholesterol, leads to weight gain, leads to fatty liver disease, and on and on and on. So what do? A couple ways that you can start supporting your metabolic health is, one is intermittent fasting or timed eating. This is your body's ability to really break these high insulin releases these high blood sugars, and it gives your body a chance to breathe, relax. So it helps regulate your blood sugar and promotes better cellular processing. It gives your body a break from insulin, which is a powerful hormone. If you want more on intermittent fasting, I've done multiple podcasts on it. Prioritize more whole foods, eating more lean proteins, healthy fats, fiber-rich carbs. These all help stabilize your blood sugars. Low glycemic load foods, better for your blood sugars. And then here's the key to simple little hack that you can do. Move after your meals. This is an easy one. Take a 10 to 15 minute walk after eating. And this is going to help you overall. This simple habit is going to help reduce those blood sugar spikes. It's going to improve your insulin sensitivity because that movement after a meal is going to take a lot of the blood sugar out of your blood, which now the food you ate will help fill it in. It will bring your blood sugars back up. Instead of using insulin to bring that blood sugar out of your bloodstream and make fat out of it, and so it'll make room for the new food coming in. That simple walking can be a simple habit to help regulate blood sugars and help you overall with your metabolic health. Because here's the thing, when your metabolic health is firing on all cylinders, you feel more energized, you feel more focused, and you're more capable of handling whatever life throws at you. So here are my final thoughts for this podcast. There are 3 key pillars to longevity. If you want to live longer and better, and if you want to have the best health span, then you need to take care of these 3 things. You have to improve your muscle mass. That's your body's armor. You have to improve your VO2 max. That's your longevity on endurance to be able to keep doing things the longer you live. And the third is your metabolic health. That is the engine that powers your vitality. These 3 together are the 3 pillars to your longevity that are non-negotiable. These aren't just numbers or abstract ideas. They're really the building blocks of life that fill your strength, your energy, your independence. So your challenge now, pick one of these pillars and take action. Add strength training. Start building muscle. Incorporate some type of interval training to boost your VO2 max, or focus on improving your metabolic health with better food choices or just timed eating. Every step that you take today pays off exponentially in the future. And if you're ready to go deeper, well, you know what? And you live locally here, I will offer you a free discovery visit with myself to go through these 3 pillars and how we can help you with them. Just mention that you listen to the podcast and tell the front office and they will help you with that. Because that's where I can dive deep into creating a personalized plan specifically for you to address longevity. If you look at something like our Premier Personal Training Program, this is what we do all the time. We maximize longevity. If you look at the Superhuman Protocol, that's what we do to help improve longevity. So overall, thank you today for tuning in to today's podcast. And if you found this helpful, do not hesitate to send it to somebody else. Or simply leave a review. Leave a review, and you'll be the second review on my podcast. So overall, keep watching. Keep giving me your feedback on these. And above anything, information is just information until it's applied. So don't sit on this information and think someday, do it now. Take my challenge on one of those 3 things and make a difference in your life. It will thank you a decade from now. All right. I'll catch you next time.